Hello Gundam fans, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laguna. Really glad to have you all joining me once again. Now today I'm gonna do a review of the Gundam Fix Figuration, series number 0015 FA-78-2 Heavy Gundam. Now those of you with sharp eyes, you have noticed that below it writes here RX-78-1 prototype Gundam. Now it is typical for the fixed figuration line to pretty much have 2-in-1, or even should I say some of them actually like 3-in-1 or even 4-in-1 in some rare occasions. Now it basically means that you have different ways to display every fixed figuration that you buy, because contained therein is pretty much two versions, of the figure. Now for this 0015, you basically have the main model, which is the Heavy Gundam. And if you kind of strip it down, you will get the prototype Gundam. Now you may ask me, where is the Gundam itself? It's okay. Let me just bring it out to you all. Let me just put this aside. Okay. I have this for the past 15 years. So this is probably one of my favorite. So I've already built this, displayed it in my case. So, I just took down this from my display case and, this is how it looks like. So this is the Heavy Gundam. Now, you may have noticed that I have another Heavy Gundam here. This is from the Robot Spirits Robot Damashi line. It looks different, it looks simpler, it looks more rounded, because this is from the version anime of the Robot Spirits line. But we're gonna do comparisons later. But just to show you guys how awesome fixed figuration is, just look at the amount of detail. Just look at the amount of decal. I cannot emphasize enough. Even until today, 15, 20 years later, fixed figuration is still one of my most favorite line. I mainly, in fact, almost exclusively collect only the 1/144 scale. So to have this, it really suits me. And if you pay attention to the details on this kit, this figure, the amount of details basically rivals the real grade line, the Gunpla real grade 1/144 line, which came out like 10 years after the first G.F.F was released. But still, it's still very, very comparable. Look at all these lines, all these details, all these decals. And the best part is all this comes pre-built. You just take it out from the packaging. You don't have to spend much time with it. You can just display it on your display case, and it just looks great. The proportions are good. It looks menacing. It doesn't look so much as a toy, but it really looks like a real model of a real mean fighting machine. Now, of course, this being the fixed figuration line, I can't emphasize enough that the name itself tells you what it's meant to do. This is not meant for you to play around. There exists articulation, but it's always good to keep your fixed figuration line in a solid, stiff articulation, stiff joint condition. You do not want your fixed figuration to fall over due to, loose joints. And for a good reason, because of the plastic that they use, the PVC plastic plus ABS, which to me felt more like resin. So this thing is heavy, really heavy compared to, probably twice the weight of a normal Robot Spirits, despite being the same scale. So this thing can stand on its own, no problem. It has that bulk, it has the weight, and yes, the articulation kind of sucks, but fixed figuration, it's meant to stand there and look good. Okay? So now let's just compare this fixed figuration version of the Heavy Gundam to the Robot Spirits version anime of version of Heavy Gundam. Now straight up, you can see how much detail this Robot Spirits version is lacking. Look at these plain shoulders, and you compare it to this. For the Robot Spirits line, for its price, which if you compare it, is almost the same. This, I believe, when it was released, is priced around 3,000 to 4,000 yen, which is quite standard for the fixed figuration G.F.F line. And this is, I got this for 4,000 yen. So yeah, it's almost pretty much the same. Just two different eras, but the difference in detail is really obvious. Now look at even this frame launcher. This is just like a simple design. The frame launcher is like the main weapon for the Heavy Gundam, comprising of the missile parts, the Gatling gun, and the beam rifle in the middle. But look at this G.F.F version. You got the missile parts, of course, okay, let me just wait for the camera to zoom in. Yep, you have the missile parts, but these can't be open. You have the Gatling gun, and not too sure where the beam rifle is, but who cares? Looks way better. Like the Gatling gun actually looked like a Gatling gun, And once again, I have to gush over all the details, even the shoulder-mounted cannon, compared side by side. Now, I'm not saying that I hate the Robot Spirits line, but compared to the G.F.F, the shelf presence and all this just looks way, way, way better. Even the backpack, if you just compare the backpack, look at all these details that's lacking on the Robot Spirits line. Okay, but enough lambasting the Robot Spirits line. Now, as I mentioned, you can never go wrong if you plan to buy a G.F.F because it comes with so much accessories, to the point that a lot of these accessories, you're just gonna keep it in its original packaging and you have no chance of displaying it ever. I mean, you can kind of interchange it from time to time, but for me, I'm quite lazy. I don't care. I just put it in its most epic form and I just put it in my shelf and just leave it there for years. Now, once again, I did mention G.F.F line, there always comes with alternate forms. So right now, I'm just gonna switch over. But before that, before I strip down this Heavy Gundam into its prototype Gundam form, let me remind you that Heavy Gundam is actually a grounds-up variant of the RX-78-2. The fact that, this one stripped down became like a, prototype Gundam is just, the way G.F.F line marketed it. It's not canon. The Heavy Gundam is not based on the RX-78-1 prototype Gundam, nor it is the RX-78-1 prototype Gundam slapped with all these extra parts. No, okay? It's a different unit altogether, but it so happened that it's included in this G.F.F line. Now, let me just compare it with the first G.F.F that I reviewed here, the Heavy Gundam. So as the lore goes, the Heavy Gundam, is basically all the parts slapped on, but it's lacking in performance. It's too heavy for these thrusters to handle. So they came out with this Heavy Gundam ground out. Oh, sorry, this is the full armor Gundam. This is the Heavy Gundam. So as you can see, the details are just awesome. Not lacking anything at all. I'm really happy. Although, yes, there may be some paint job, defects, but all in all, from a distance, looks awesome. Okay. So now I'm gonna spend some time to strip down this Heavy Gundam into its base form. So I'll be right back. Now for the accessories, This is the lower tier of the packaging, and as you can see, it contains already quite a lot of things here. Now, don't mind all these metal wires that's lying around. This is how the G.F.F line was packaged 15-20 years ago. Basically, all these things, are tied down by these metal wires. But just to show you guys, so this side you have the alternate hands, extra hands. This side you have this thing to hold this hyper bazooka, to mount the hyper bazooka on the Gundam itself. Now, this is basically the core fighter of the core block system, and this is the deployed full version that can fly. This is the the part which is supposed to attach into the Gundam itself, So you see, they gave so much accessory, even this, some may say useless accessories that just go right back to the box. But just look at this core fighter, the amount of details that's contained. The decals, the lines, if you like to panel line it, go ahead. There's a lot of things to panel line. You can even see like this transparent cockpit part. Okay, my camera refuses to zoom in. Okay, but anyway, okay, there we go. You see all these details that are just a bit of a waste, like it just goes right back to the box. And even this hyper bazooka, the decals and whatnot, the sights, so awesome in terms of the coloring even. Okay, and we have here the first tier accessories for the G.F.F Heavy Gundam. As you can see, there are parts to, we like to call it parts form, back to its prototype Gundam alternate form. And this is the prototype Gundam head. Okay, this feet armor is supposed to be attached to the Heavy Gundam, but this being 15-20 years old, it's kind of a bit fragile, and it's kind of hard to snap it in. That's why I just kind of leave it here. I don't really want to break anything. And then the accessories included the beam rifle with, I believe this is like a grenade launcher, this beam javelin, this chain hammer thing. You even have this beam pistol. This is the extra, beam saber that has been lying around. And they gave you two shields. For those of you who are wondering what those two shields are for, we can just go back to the back box packaging of this G.F.F. As you can see, this is the Heavy Gundam and this is the prototype Gundam. Okay, let me just focus. And you can see that these two shields can be attached and layered together to form like a even more badass shield. So okay, like once again I say, this is typical of the G.F.F line to contain alternate form for the product that for the figure that they are selling. So I'll be right back when I strip down the Heavy Gundam back to the prototype Gundam form. Okay, Gundam fans, welcome back. As you can see, I've stripped the Heavy Gundam, the G.F.F Heavy Gundam, down to its prototype Gundam form. And as you can see, this, even though it looks pretty bare, but the detailing, especially the decals, still make up for it. As I, of course, as usual, compare it to the RX-78-2 Robot Spirits line. You can just see the difference in detail. The leg part, especially the ankle part. Like, look at all these detailed differences. Okay, and then of course, this being the prototype Gundam, you do have to compare it with the Robot Spirits prototype Gundam, not the version anime that I've reviewed before. This one, even though it comes in like a glossy, shining paint, lacquer-like, but in terms of the proportion, it's still comparably good. I like the sharp edges. I like the thin kind of proportion. But the G.F.F line looks more bulky. Okay? So yeah, sorry about that. There is like a message on my phone that just came in. And then for some reason, my camera just refuses to focus. But anyway, as you can see, the Gundam Fix Figuration line is awesome in terms of detail, So you can just strip it down, display in this form, and when you feel like it, fix back all these armor parts. And I did mention that I want to show you. This is probably one of my favorite accessories in regards to the robot. In regards to the Gundam Fix Figuration G.F.F line. They gave you 2 shields, and the awesome part is they gave you 2 different looking shield. One with this cross, one without, more plain. But I have to say, again and again, the decals are just awesome. Even if you turn to the back, you look at the amount of detailing that's going around here. Okay? And there's like a hidden, I would say, there's like a hidden thing you can do with this shield. You can actually just combine both of them together. Now, I believe you have to somehow get this part out. Yeah, basically you get this part out. Then you can pretty much fix these 2 together of some sort. Now, okay, I'm a bit confused right now as in how this thing works. But yeah, the gist of it is that you can pretty much fix these 2 together. Oh yeah, so I guess it works something like this. So now it has become like a double layer of shield. Wait, it's not fixing together. Am I missing some parts that I don't know of? But anyway, yeah, you can pretty much display it like this. But of course, why would you want to display 2 shields being together when you can display it with 2 shields? Now, there's something to note here. Gundam Fix Figuration line, due to the amount of details, they always comes with some fragile parts, especially this. This one is kind of loose. It's the same as this. Now, this handle part is kind of loose. It pops out all the time. So if you're worried about it, you can just glue them together. No problem. This is one of the normal fixes for the Fix Figuration line. Since it's meant to just stand there looking good, so you are actually encouraged to, just stick it, with glue, those loose parts. And even parts like, for example, this one. Yeah. For some reason, this come off. I guess this is intended to kind of show off the core fighter kind of thing. But at the end, look at even the amount of details in here. But at the end, this doesn't play much part in the, overall perspective of things when you want to display this. So you are just encouraged to glue some parts together just to keep it nice and tight. So, as I said before, you can attach 2 shields. And yeah, there you go. This is like the ultimate defense, way, the ultimate defense form. 2 shields on each side, and you can pretty much go around and punch people. So yeah, once again, here I believe ends the review of this Gundam Fix Figuration 0015 Heavy Gundam / Prototype Gundam series. Once again, I have to say, Fix Figuration, go get it. Even though it's secondhand, You know, you can get it for cheap, probably as low as, you know, 1500 or 2000 yen. Just go get it. You know, it may come a bit yellowed and whatnot due to its age, but, you know, it looks as if, you know, it's, you know, sometimes aged figures actually looks better than new figures. You know, just buy this for the sake of the amount of details they gave you for that low price. And, you know, once again, even if I compare this base form to the Robot Spirits Heavy Gundam, look at the difference in details. You know, really makes you want to just chuck this Robot Spirit line away. I mean, don't do that, of course. Keep the Robot Spirits line for you to play around with it. This one looks good by being displayed in the, you know, display case, whatever you want. So yeah. So if you have anything, if you felt that I've missed anything, I'm sorry for the stuttering. It's been a long week with all the COVID lockdowns that's been going around. So forgive me for my delay in uploading the videos. So if you have anything, I welcome you. Really look forward to interact with you all. So drop your comments, maybe even ask questions. Maybe if I missed out anything, just feel free to point it out. Really, really looking forward to interacting with you all. So we'll really appreciate it if you guys can also, you know, hit that like, you know, click that subscribe button, and, you know, ring that subscription bell, you know, for notifications for my future videos. So without much further ado, once again, stay cool, stay original, stay safe, and stay passionate of this Gundam hobby of yours. Laguna out.